One of the nice things about being a book reviewer is that you don't have to rely on mainstream crap. We have indies, and there's always a good indie alternative. When John C. Wright saw Star Wars The Force Awakens, he had a slightly different view from the rest of us. John C. Wright's review of the sequels was more like what we were promised as opposed to what we got. The end result of this shoot-from-the-lip mock review came an outline of a 12-book series. You can read that review on his website without much of the way of spoilers. The story grew exponentially as time went on, with the addition of many more space pirates. Today we are talking about John C. Wright's Space Pirates of Andromeda, the first book of his massive 12-book StarQuest series. And don't worry, he's already on book 9. Last I checked. By the time this review comes out, he might be on book 10. And keep in mind, book 9 literally came out the week before I recorded this. Let's get into the actual review. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, to begin with, Alderaan was destroyed. No, wait, I'm sorry. Wrong opening. To quote from the actual scroll he puts in the opening of his book, the despotic galactic empire has fallen. The dark overlords, masters of mysterious mental powers, are dead. The remnants of the Imperial forces have retreated to the Black Sun Nebula at the core of the galaxy, brooding on revenge. The Republic is reborn, and with it, truth, liberty, and hope. But from the ashes of quenched tyranny, new evils arise. One by one, an unknown force is extinguishing the life-giving suns throughout the arms of the galaxy, leaving billions to die in darkness. But when we actually open the book, you have Princess Lyrazel Centauri, or simply Lyra, watched her world dying. They went down battling the entire forces of darkness, and despite everything she personally witnessed, nobody would believe the Galactic Empire was behind it, because after all, the Empire and the Overlords were all dead. And that's just the 30-page prologue. It's John C. Wright. Anyway, 13 years later, the Star Patrol captain, Athos Lone, not Solo, Lone, is boarding a pirate vessel ready to exterminate the vile scum. He has a high-tech mask from the ancient times that helps him lay on par with a whole ship filled with pirates. When he finds himself on the hull of the ship, he discovers a translucent maiden with a bow and arrow just striding along the vacuum of space. Apparently, Lyra has learned a few tricks since her planet was destroyed. From here is a breakneck run for survival against a horde of pirates all out for Athos's blood. Think about the pacing of the original Star Wars. We open with a space shootout, follow two droids down to Tatooine, and then the film slows down as the droids wander over the sand. Space Pirates of Andromeda has no such slowdown. It doesn't really stop to breathe. Like the original serials that Star Wars was based on, the plot is always moving and the threats are omnipresent. The pacing is more on par with Flash Gordon or Barsoom from Edgar Rice Burroughs. And the prose is very John C. Wright. His narration is poetry, no matter who's being chased, stalked, and or shot at. It's also very clear Wright wanted to take a stiletto to the woke nonsense of modern audiences. Everyone is lovingly described, the heroes are heroic, the villains are villainous, like real fiction, like most fiction throughout all of history. And, of course, like all Flash Gordon serials, this has a cliffhanger. Sort of cliffhanger was fine if the next chapter, came out the next week instead of months later. That's the difference between serials and book releases. Imagine if The Empire Strikes Back stopped with the TIE fighters chasing the Millennium Falcon into the clouds, Luke Skywalker just dangling over Cloud City, and they just cut to credits. Hold on to that sensation. That sensation right there, that was me when I read the book. However, like I said, since then, Book 2 is out, book 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are out. So yeah, it's fun. You can just go straight from book 1 to book 2 immediately. This is going to reward binge reading, so enjoy the binge. If you imagine the next generation of the rebels from Star Wars as more akin to superheroes living up to the shadows of their parents, you pretty much have an idea of the characters here, and it's John C. Wright. Even the bit characters have personality, they have backstory, motivations, and they're all relevant to the story. Now, despite what we've covered so far, lest you think this is a bit of rewritten fan fiction or retread, John C. Wright has rewritten so much of Star Wars, I now want him to go back and give us the StarQuest version of every episode before this. Everyone now has a different background. Chewbacca is less Chewbacca, and he's more like Dr. Hank McCoy from X-Men. There are conversations about the rise of the this empire, which rose in response to pirates, barbarians, unholy things from beyond the edge, doppelgangers and underdwellers, end quote. The ancient order of the Templars, who are honestly not Jedi, are going around freeing mutinous robots. An interesting development on the droid uprising, etc. That sort of thing. Now, there is clearly a large world stuck in John C. Wright's head, and it has multitudes of planets swarming in there, each with their own distinct cultures. And trust me, there are a lot of them, each with their own different cultures. I'm not even exaggerating. Now, how does John C. Wright pull this off while keeping a breakneck pace akin to a thriller? Mostly by bringing up what's relevant as it becomes relevant and try not to breathe too much on the way. It's very breakneck pacing. What are the politics of this one? Pirates bad. Evil should be crushed. That's about it. Now, if you think religion is just hokey superstition, you're going to have an issue with this. But this is science fantasy with space pirates. If you have problems with all of that, you might be reading the wrong book, the wrong genre. As for the content warning, the content here is about as harsh as a Flash Gordon serial, the black and white ones, not even the 1980 version. All said and done is pretty tame by the standards of some modern cartoons. We wouldn't even go into some of the ones they have on Amazon these days. Oy. Who is this one for? Now imagine Gene Wolfe writing Star Wars? Maybe Tim Powers. If that sounds like fun, you're the target readership for this book. Well, why buy this book? When I first encountered David Weber's Honor Harrington series, the actual review described it as Horatio Hornblower meets Star Wars. If David Weber is the C.S. Forrester of science fiction, then that must make John C. Wright Science Fiction's Patrick O'Brien, the author of the Master and Commander series. And if that sounds like a good time, you should buy it. Now, as always, I am Declan Finn, your host and chief cat wrangler for Upstream Reviews. Please feel free to do all the usual algorithm things like subscribe, share, comment, blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm not so big on the whole algorithm thing, so pardon me if I just think it's nonsense. If you like the review, go out buy the book. If you want to read the book, review as I have it. Link is in the description. The link to all the other Upstream reviews on Substack, link to in the description, and you'll have a good day.